Hi readers. I'd like to continue on our discussion about making connections, and I'd like to share with you a few excerpts from the book New Kid by Jerry Craft. This book is astonishing for so many reasons. One main reason is it won the Newbery Award in 2020 as a graphic novel, which is just a wonderful, wonderful milestone. There's other reasons to love this book. Besides the fact it's a graphic novel and it really asks the reader to think fairly deeply, it introduces themes of racism, inclusion, adolescence, the opportunity to think about big questions in our world today, not only for the targeted audience of this book, the late elementary, middle school, but for adults as well, the opportunity to think about some of these big questions. Of course, it also offers a wonderful opportunity to make connections. So before I read a couple of excerpts, I'd like to share with you what it says on the back about this novel. It's by Jerry Craft. Seventh grader Jordan Banks loves nothing more than drawing cartoons about his life. But instead of sending him to the art school of his dreams, his parents enroll him in a prestigious private school known for its academics, where Jordan turns out to be one of the few kids of color in his entire grade. As he makes the daily trip from his Washington Heights apartment to the upscale Riverdale Academy Day School, Jordan soon finds himself torn between two worlds and not really fitting into either one. The selections that I've chosen are pages where the story is a little bit interrupted by Jordan's drawings that he puts together to kind of make sense of his world. And as was written on the back, that he talks about the trip from his home to the apartment, and I'd like to read just this part about that. It's called Jordan's Tips for Taking the Bus. Fitting in on the ride to school is hard work. I have to be like a chameleon. For example, in Washington Heights, I try to look tough. Inwood is a little different, so I can lose the hood. No one ever smiles in the morning, so you won't catch me doing that either. Kingsbridge is where all of the public schools get off, so it's okay to take off my shades. I can even draw. So do you see how he's changing as the people on the bus are changing with him? Last comes Riverdale, where I do my best not to look cool at all. No shades and definitely no hood. I don't even like to draw because people might think I'm going to use my markers to tag the bus. I love quadratic equations, don't you? Man, by the time I get to school, I'm exhausted. That new kid is kind of cool. Yeah, so non-threatening. So, of course, this page really gets to how people view other people and the stereotypes or the connections that people make based on what a person might look like. And I made a connection wondering about the times in my life when I've had to adapt or change who I am to fit into the environment. And as soon as I started thinking about that, I recognized right away that the kinds of changes I've had to make by no means match the kind of changes that Jordan had to make just on his bus ride. He's faced with a much different experience based on what he looks like compared to the experience I have based on what I look like. So making just that small connection to myself made me start to ask some really big questions, which asking questions is, well, one of the important components in critical thinking. And I just wanted to share this other picture to demonstrate how graphic novels really ask us to think and infer when there's no words on our page. This is the bus ride on the way home. And of course we can see that Jordan then has to change back from his school personality to his neighborhood personality. Every day he has to do that. And that is how you can make a text-to-self connection that leads to asking bigger questions. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi readers, it's good to see you. Today we're going to be talking about making connections, and I'm going to be using the book called A Wolf Called Wander by Roseanne Perry. It's a story actually based on a real story about how a wolf pack was disbanded and how one of the wolves had to find his way to a new territory. It's told from the perspective of the wolf, which makes it really very interesting. And we're going to meet a character in here called Worm. That's Wander's brother. He caught up with him after the pack was kind of separated. Wander came in contact again with Worm. And in the chapter called Lightning, we learn a little bit about what happens to the wolves. Lightning. In my determination to take care of Worm, I almost miss the man smell. I crouch freeze. Men are walking toward the bachelor wolves slowly and quietly. The wolves are so busy at their meat, still struggling over which one is the lead wolf, they do not hear the men coming. Their noses are so full of their kill, they do not smell the men coming. The men crouch on the ground on a rise just above them. Mother's words come to mind. They can kill with a look and a loud noise. What do you think that means? They can kill with a look and a loud noise. I watch and wait. The men lift black sticks to their shoulders. What do you think those are? Guns? Yeah, I think so too. Something is bad here. I can feel it. The fur all over my body rises. Hold still, I say to Worm. He lies motionless. The bachelor wolves have not caught scent of the men or me. They are busy with their food. The smell of it is agony. I need that meat. Worm needs it even more. If only the men would go away, I would be begging for my portion, eating, bringing a bellyful to share with Worm. I am tempted, sorely tempted, to join the feast. The men are just watching. But Mother's words linger. They can kill with a look. What does that mean? And then the men throw lightning from their sticks. A flash of fire, a clap of thunder, and the wolves go down. The brown wolf goes to the ground without even a cry. The gray one yelps aloud. He struggles to run, but his back legs won't move. He drags them for a few agonizing steps. And then another lightning bolt flares, and another. The men are shouting now. Both wolves are down, but the lightning and thunder go on. Each burst makes the dead bodies jump. Oh my goodness. Right now I'm really thinking about The One and Only Ivan, the book The One and Only Ivan. And I remember from that book how humans can be so cruel in how they kill animals and why they kill animals. In The One and Only Ivan, they killed them for their hands and feet to make, I believe, ashtrays. And in this book, we don't really understand why they're killing wolves, because Wander doesn't understand why they're killing wolves. But this makes me really wonder about the connection between these two books, both The One and Only Ivan and A Wolf Called Wander, I think are asking the reader to think about how humans and animals work together in the natural world and who has more power. It appears that humans probably have more power, especially when they carry black sticks and shoot animals, and how little opportunity animals have to save their lives. And if that's really a good way for us to be kind of taking care of our world, that's one of the themes that both A Wolf Called Wander and The One and Only Ivan ask the reader to think about. Who are we in this world, and how are we taking care of our world, including our animals? So that's a connection. It's a text-to-text connection between two probably upper elementary school, early middle school texts to help us think about how making connections can lead us to thinking about the world and how making connections help us not only understand our books better, but help us ask questions that are really important in our world today. Hey readers, I must say I'm really enjoying A Wolf Called Wander by Roseanne Perry. One of the things I love about it is how many opportunities it gives us to make connections to either other texts or to ourselves or to the world. I'd like to read a little excerpt from the chapter called Canyon to talk about how a reader can make a connection from a book to the world around us. Canyon. Another day passes and another, and then my hunger wakes up before I do. I must stand up and live or lie down and die. I step out of my hiding spot and shake out my fur in the sun. I stretch back legs in front. My wounded shoulder is better. I wade along the rocky edge of the stream. The uneven ground that was agony to walk on before is not so bad now. I smell for some sign of deer or elk that water here. My heart sinks even as I do. The whole time I lay hidden, nothing came to drink. The canyon walls are too steep and the shore too rocky. I can feel the loose skin of my belly sway as I walk. Far above the canyon walls, I see the silhouette of a raven. I bark a call just because it has been so long since I had anyone to talk to. The raven calls back. She circles down and lands beside me. She has the same bare patch on her chest as my raven from before. My raven! She struts the length of me, and I stand tall to show that I am stronger than when we first met. The rattling call of a kingfisher makes both of us jump. It flies low over the stream. It keeps saying the same thing over and over. Loudly, it hovers like the tiny green bird on the prairie did. Then it dives into the water and emerges with a fish. Good trick. I am hungry. Just as I am considering what a wolf could do to persuade a bird to give up her kill, my raven takes off, circling upward. She swoops down the stream. She is twice the kingfisher's size. She knocks it sideways and it drops the fish. The raven dives, quick as a darting dragonfly, and snatches the fish before it hits the water. Great trick! I am so hungry. My raven lands by my side and makes an offer to share her food. Isn't that interesting? Here's a bird who is willing to share her fish that she just caught or stole from the kingfisher with a wolf, which makes me wonder how many other animals help out other animals in the world. I'm reminded right away of that fish called the remora, who swims next to the shark and helps. And I know there's a bird, I think it's called an ibis, that swims with crocodiles in the Nile and picks the food in between the crocodile's teeth. The ibis gets to eat and the crocodile doesn't have his food stuck in his mouth anymore. And it helps me remember that things in nature are related. In nature, there's a connection between animals and between plants and animals. And sometimes, as this book shows, sometimes humans, may not be part of that connection. And it makes us wonder if we should have a bigger connection, nature connection in our world. As a reader, these are just some of the questions that reading this book might help us ask, making sense of our world around us. Well, I can't recommend this book, A Wolf Called Wander, highly enough. Upper elementary, early middle is probably a good age range. It makes it terrific. Read aloud, lots of opportunities to think aloud, to make connections, and certainly to engage in other reading strategies. A Wolf Called Wander by Roseanne Perry. See you next time.